Before I begin telling you my terrifying tale, I must warn you, this is a truly disturbing and horrifying story. If the graphic details become too difficult to hear, please take a moment to pause the video and gather yourself. But if you can, please continue. But if you can't, no sheesh. But this story needs to be heard, and I need to tell it. I was born into a Catholic family in the state of Alabama. Everything was so simply swell for the first 7 years of my life. I was just a run-of-the-mill boy. I played football, I read Harry Potter, I watched cartoons, I listened to Liza Minnelli, and I took boxing classes. Just your standard 7-year-old. However, around my 8th birthday, I realized I was different. It's not easy coming out as a gay man in Alabama, especially when your parents are devout Catholics, but I could no longer lie to myself. I am who I am, and if y'all can't love me for who I am, then y'all never gon' love me for who I was. As I grew up, I became more and more comfortable with myself. I wasn't accepted by the people in my town, but I didn't care. In fact, I actually kind of liked knowing that I was getting under their skin. When I was 19, I used to walk around town wearing a crop top and a thong, just to prove a point. I soon stopped doing that though, as one day when I was walking through town, my abnormally large tackle broke free from my thong and started dragging along the floor behind me. I actually only noticed when I heard Mr. Boss say behind me, "Blimey, my boy, your tackle out." I quickly stuffed it away into my posing pouch, carefully removing a piece of gum that it had picked up along the way. Anyway, as I was saying, I was comfortable with being a gay man, and I was ready to date. There weren't any other gay men in my town, so I had to look a little further afield. I tried downloading an app called Grindr, and boy, did my ears prick up. Hundreds of totally swell boys of all different shapes and sizes, colours and backgrounds. My idea of heaven. I came across a guy called Big Nige. I really liked the look of him. He was 6'3", blonde hair, blue eyes, muscular, and oh, so handsome. He seemed like such a really the swell guy. And he wasn't too far away. We chatted back and forth. Just usual chit-chat. What do you do for a living? What do you do for fun? How many pairs of leather shorts do you own? The usual. I really liked Big Nige, and I was ready to meet up with him. We chose to meet up on the outskirts of my town. He suggested an old deserted playground that he used to hang out at when he was a teenager. At the time, I didn't think anything of it. I was just a horny guy. I foolishly agreed. I was traveling in my car on the way to meet him. He was sending me all kinds of raunchy pictures and messages, and I don't want to get too graphic, but I mistook my gear stick for my bulging member a number of times on the way to the playground. Now, before I continue, I must explain to you the layout of the playground, as this is very important to the story. My car was parked next to an old roundabout. The roundabout was metallic, but it had begun to rust badly. Directly to the left of the roundabout was a swing for very small children. This had also begun to rust. Inside the one swing, there was an old discarded soda can. Pepsi Max, if I remember correctly. Just behind the swings there was a climbing frame, which was practically falling to pieces. Someone had graffitied upon it, "You and me and you, we imitate your crew as you're coming through. What you gonna do as you're coming through, It's the Bullabad crew. The Bullabad crew were a very eloquent gang around these parts in Alabama. To the right of the roundabout, there was a small rocking horse, and inside it was a hen in its late 40s. Just behind the rocking horse, there was a plastic slide. The steps leading up to it were nearly all missing. Remember this. This is very important. I was beginning to wonder where Big Nige had got to, and then I saw a figure begin to emerge from behind the slide. Please, if you are squeamish, pause the video now. I could only see the outline of him at first. He was very slowly walking towards me, but he hadn't said a word. I was sort of scared, but sort of erect at the same time. Big Nige, is that you? I said. No reply. Now I was freaked. He got closer and closer and closer until the moonlight lit up his face and he stopped. It was Big Nige, except something was wrong. He didn't look right. Something was very wrong. And then it dawned on me. He wasn't 6'3". He was 6'1" at most. I screamed. I screamed louder than I have ever screamed in my life. I ran for my car, broke through the window, and drove off into the darkness, my balls moist with fear and disappointment.
Toodaloo.